Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the Redline Racing League. This time around it's Sunday's Division 3, 1 hour of the Nürburgring. All drivers must use 3 of the 4 available compounds, being Racing Super Soft, Soft, Mediums, or Hards. Here is the starting grid. On pole in an Aston Martin Vantage, on the Racing Super Softs, it's Jara. In second position, starting on the softs, in the Subaru WRX, it's New Davey. In third position, we've got the first of the BMW Z4s. On the Super Softs, it's JCS. Fourth position sees his teammate, Stealth Hypes, also starting on the Super Soft compound. In fifth position, we have the first of the Vipers, both Vipers starting on the Super Softs. In P5, it's Jeff. In sixth position, we've got Jeff's teammate, it's Jardy. Starting in seventh position, it's not a Vantage, it's an Aston Martin DBR9 GT1. In seventh, it's John Leo on the Super Softs. In P8, John Leo's teammate, RRL Martin, also in the DBR9, starting on the softs. In ninth position, in a Mercedes AMG on the soft compound, it's Clive. 10th position sees Rob Smith in a Porsche 911, starting on the Racing Hard tires. And rounding out your field, in a Porsche 911 on the Racing Mediums, it's H656. Alright, cycling through, it was a grid start with a false check, so some of the drivers who may ghost at the start may have jumped the start. Nonetheless, a relatively clean start. However, it seems that Martin may have missed the braking point, therefore dropping back just a bit. As I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, drivers, as we see Jara unfortunately losing it, hopping over the curbs. Here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, that is one of the tricky factors, is the curbs are quite a bit taller than some other tracks that we see on the calendar, and it can be pretty easy to lose control. As we see a nice battle for the 9th position. Despite the hiccup, New Davey is actually going to inherit the lead, ahead of Stealth Hypes, who's already up from 4th position. And despite starting on pole and the little hiccup, Jara maintained 3rd position, being able to save it quite a bit. So fortunately, there was no major big accident. John Leo right behind the twin Vipers, as his teammate Martin sitting in P8. Alright, riding on board with JCS, who gets a little bit loose, hit from behind, and unfortunately that BMW Z4 goes around. Riding on board with Jardy, as it happened. BMW Z4 caught the curve a little bit, got some understeer, got a bump unfortunately, and goes around. Alright, riding on board with Jeff in P4. In the slipstream of Jara, the Aston Martin Vantage. And right behind Jeff is his teammate in the Viper, Jardy, with the DBR9s in hot pursuit. A little bit more than halfway through lap 1, through the first of the bull turns, and unfortunately understeer catches that BMW Z4, forcing it to spin. More than unfortunate, Stealth Hypes was doing a great job sitting in 2nd. As we ride on board with Martin, who has nowhere to go, it appears once again Jara went off track, lost a bit of control, was unable to hit the brakes in time. So we've riding on board with Stealth Hypes. What happened here? It appears that Jara missed the braking spot, comes back on track. Martin has nowhere to go but in the back of him, forces Jara to go spinning. On board with H656, passing Jara for P7. Drivers, again, starting on the super softs, the softs. Here with H656, who's actually started on the medium compound, along with Rob Smith, who started on the hards. Stealth Hypes going a bit wide, hitting the grass. And once again, just having some poor luck on this first lap here in Division 3 of the Redline Racing League. Meanwhile, New Davey starting to pull out a lead in that Subaru WRX. Jardy Boy in the Viper already up from 6th on the grid to 2nd. Martin from 8th up to P3. Jeff sitting in P4. John Leo rounding out your top 5. H656 already up from 11th position up to 6th. Persistence paying off. Rob Smith in 7th. Stealth Hypes in P8. His teammate JCS in 9th. Unfortunately, our pole sitter, having some tough luck, has dropped back to 10th. Alright, here on lap 2, with a really good battle going on for 6th position between the Porsche 911 and the BMW Z4. Unfortunately, knocks him off circuit. But here's an excellent demonstration of sportsmanship. Stealth Hypes actually slowed down to give that position back. Nearing the end of lap 2, New Davey with a relatively sizable lead ahead of Jardy Boy. Really good battle here between the Viper and the DBR9 for the final podium position. And already after almost 12 minutes, those two are glued together on circuit. P5, John Leo doing a nice job manhandling that powerful Aston. As H56 maintaining the medium compounds, which are certainly lasting. As we take a look at Rob Smith in P7. Doing a nice job there. Jara has gotten back into 8th position with a really good battle with Stealth Hypes in the BMW Z4. JCS holding on to 10th position. And there's the Mercedes AMG of Clive doing a nice job, trying to maintain some consistency, getting settled in. After all, we are at the Nordschleife, certainly the hardest track on the calendar in this series. As we ride on board with Jardy Boy, yellow flags out. Your leader has somehow spun in that 6, maybe 7 second gap, has closed down to some bumper to bumper action now. As we're about 15 minutes into this endurance race, 4th of the way through, this is the battle for the lead. Keep in mind, there is some ghosting going on. So we take a look at the good battle for 7th position. We've got Porsche versus Aston versus BMW. Rob Smith on the harder compounds, the drivers behind on the softer rubber, and unfortunately loses it, handing the position over. Sitting with on board with Jeff, and P3 goes a bit wide in the second barrel, catches the grass a little bit, allows RRL Martin to go ahead and take 3rd position. Alright, here on lap 5. So similar to, say, Sunday's Division 1, there is a steward recommendation that the pits are open between lap 3 and lap 7. That was the preferred strat ruled out in Division 1, and as we saw, no one pitted after 3 laps, so people were starting to come in end of lap 3, lap 4, lap 5, etc. As we see H656 swapping off the super soft compound onto the racing softs in 6th position. Alright, here's the battle for 7th. Jara and JCS opting to stay out for another lap, running on the soft compound. Keeping in mind, Jara did start on the super softs and then switch to the softs, as Clive go ahead and pits from the super soft compound, going on to the racing medium. So although a few drivers starting on the mediums or started on the hards, ultimately everyone at one point was on the super soft compound or on the softs. As we see your 3rd place driver Martin switching to the mediums. Jeff Borrow pitting from P5 from the softs onto the mediums here on lap 7. So 3 laps to go, and it's quite some exciting action all the way down the grid. Alright, Jara in the Aston Martin Vantage from the soft compound onto the mediums as well. There's JCS sitting in P8, running the soft compound. That beautiful teal and black Z4. There's Rob Smith occupying P9, running on the racing soft compound. He started on the hards and opted to switch to the softs, as your leader will pit at the end of lap 7. So from the soft compound, what will happen with just 2 laps to go? Already switching to the harder, somewhat slower mediums. However, there is a sizable gap back to 2nd position. Alright, from the medium compounds, New Davy switching to the super softs. So from Jardy on the mediums to New Davy on the super softs, let's see how much New Davy can close that gap. Good race so far by RRL Martin, who started in 8th position, is up into a podium position, possibly switching to the super soft compound. On the mediums right now, Jeff Borrow opting to stay out, which may be good news because the driver giving him pressure was John Leo in P5. Was on the mediums, but what will happen? Comes out on the faster super soft compound. So again, like our battle for 1st, the battle for 4th is on. H656 from the softs. Really good battle going on between the BMW Z4 of JCS coming into the pits. Jara, however, opting to stay out on the mediums. So this may be an undercut that may work. We will see. JCS, though, is going to come out of the pits right away. So from Jara on the medium compound, we see JCS also on the medium. So that should be an interesting battle because JCS is on fresher tires. Alright, Rob Smith going to go ahead and do the last 2 laps on the super soft compound. Stealth Hype switches from the mediums to the softs, holding on to a top 10 position. As we check out Clive, who opted to stay out on the mediums. As all 11 drivers are still in this competition. Very nice to see that. It's a tough track to get. It's very easy to get overly frustrated and maybe want to quit. Nonetheless, everyone is stuck with it, so my hat's off to you. As Jardy Boy on the main straightaway on the final lap now has a very comfortable lead. Also keep in mind, although this was a tire conservation race, fuel was off, so drivers didn't have to worry about short shifting at all. So it was just flat out, go for it. As we see New Davy started 2nd, was leading for a bit, nonetheless is still going to get a top 2 position. Hold on to it. As Martin making his way towards that final straight, and your winner at the Nürburgring in the 1 hour race here of the Redline Racing League Division 3, Jardy Boy in the Viper takes the win from 6th on the grid. In second position, driving the Super WRX, had a relatively eventful race, but nonetheless was near the front the entire way. Come around the final turn, finishing second, New Davy. He started all the way in 8th position in the Aston DBR9. Going to go ahead and pick up a podium here in Division 3. Rounding the final few turns. Final step of the podium goes to Martin. Martin's teammate, also in the DBR9, started in the 7th position, and John Leo will go ahead and take 4th. And the winner of this race's teammate, in another Viper, taking 5th position, will be Jeff. As we take a look down the order of the rest of the grid, H656 will hold on to 6th. Jaro will take 7th, JCS will take 8th, Rob Smith in 9th, Stealth Hypes rounding out your top 10, and sticking with it in the Mercedes AMG is Clive. So congratulations to everyone for going ahead and sticking with the race. Made for some excellent viewing, and thank you so much for watching. This is the Redline Racing League. I invite you to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!